everyone, and welcome to another edition of Faye Fitness. Today we are going to continue on with our men's self-defense series, and we will be demonstrating moves that you can do on an opponent's face area. So this is everything from the top to the bottom of the head and in between. So if this sounds like something you'd like to learn, stay tuned and I'll show you how. Welcome everyone, Faye here with our lovely guest Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us today. As you saw in the introduction, we are going to be filming our men's self-defense series, and Sarah has agreed to be our attacker today. So for today's video, we're going to focus on the head and where to hit an attacker to be most effective at stunning them so that you can then flee to safety. So let's just go ahead and start from the top and work our way down. So for the eyes, if Sarah was coming at me straight ahead, if I was a man, I would use my thumbs and just insert them into the eye socket. So generally men have wider and more denser thumbs than a woman, so just inserting it straight ahead is sufficient to cause severe damage to the ocular cavity. Or if you have smaller thumbs, you can insert them and then move your thumbs apart. So I'm inserting and moving to the sides to damage the eye cavity. The other thing you can do is just poke fingers straight ahead. So say I was just panicked and didn't, have enough time to think through the thumb thing, just fingers straight ahead, do the same thing. So next, moving down, we're going to talk about the nose. And the nose is a really sensitive part in any capacity. If you've ever fallen or had like a baseball hit you in the nose and say break it or even bloody it, it hurts like heck.
Even when it's not bloody or anything, just a tiny, it hurts.
It really does. So what we're going for here is to actually break the nose, because that will instantly make the eyes water and then distract your opponent or your attacker so that they're more focused on their face and what just happened, so then I can turn and run to safety. So for this, you have a couple of different options. If you followed my kickboxing series, you could do a simple jab. So I would just jab to the nose, or a cross is really effective. And again, you don't have to worry about good form in these situations. You just want to worry about getting that fist in contact with the nose. The other thing you can do is the elbow is another really good move, whether it be from the front or from the back. So say, for whatever reason, I was turning to the side, I could ram my elbow back and pop her in the nose. Or even a good old hammer fist. So I'm using the base of my hand to make contact with the top of the nose. That will be a great method to, again, break it or hurt it so that I can turn and flee.
It probably works better on higher, taller people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so generally speaking, most men tend to be taller, so if you are a man against a female opponent, the hammer punch is going to be a lot more effective because you do have that height advantage. Mm-hmm. But it still works really well of people who are the same height like we are.
Okay.
So, so moving to the sides, to our temples, this is a really great pressure point. So if anyone has ever had like a tension headache, many of our doctors will tell us to put our hands here, apply pressure, and then rotate, and what we're doing is actually lightly stimulating that pressure point. So what we want to do is take this a step further and actually hit it with force and cause damage. So, sorry. So for this, we're actually going to do a hook. And if you watched my kickboxing series, a basic hook is your arm comes up and over. So my fist can either, again, you don't have to worry about form, you just want the top of your fingers here to be making contact with the temple, and try to keep your forearm parallel to the ground. Just that way you have good form and you're making sure that your muscles and everything are getting the maximum force possible. So what this would look like is if, again, I'm facing you, I would come up and over. Now this does require me to be a little bit closer to my attacker as opposed to a jab or a cross where I'm able to extend my arm fully. Because the hook is such a close range punch, I will need to kind of get up in her personal bubble for a bit for this, but if she's coming at me to attack me, she's probably already there anyways. So I would just come up and over. And then again, your head would fling to the side. It's going to hurt like heck. I can turn and run. So moving down, we've got the temples. We're also going to move out to the ears. Ears are a great body part to attack if you can punch them. What we want to try to do is punch the ear with as much force as possible to actually rupture the eardrum. And that's going to affect her balance and mobility because the eardrums affect both of those things. Plus it's going to hurt like heck. So while she's reeling from the pain and then the vertigo from not being able to balance herself, I can turn and run away from this bad situation. So to do that, again, it's going to be a hook. So I'm going to get up in your business and then aim it right for your ear. And again, I want to make sure that the top of my hand is making as much contact with as much of her ear as possible. The other thing you can do is actually grab the ear. So the ear has a lot of nerve endings in it, and if I grab and pull, your head's going to go wherever I lead you. So in this situation, I could then get my legs involved. So I could grab your ear, pull you down and forward and into my knee. And again, that's going to break your nose, hit you in the eye socket depending on where I'm aiming, and then cause you a lot of pain. Yeah, just like that. So we've finished the ears, moving down to the jaw. You can do the sides of the jaw and then underneath. Let's start with the sides. These are going to be great for hooks, jabs, crosses, even a hammer fist. So for a hook, it would be just really easy. Come up and over and hit the side of the jaw. I want to try to get her to move to the side as much as humanly possible from the force of my impact. So hopefully you're on the ground and I'm already running in the opposite direction. The other thing I can do is if I move over a little bit to the side, is I can do a jab to the side of her jaw and push her head back and hopefully get her to stumble behind. Yeah, so just like that. Same with a cross. I'm wanting to cause as much impact to put as much distance between myself and you as possible so that I can run to safety. Another option men have, just because generally they have a lot more muscle mass and it's easier for them to exert that type of upper body strength just from where their center of gravity is located, is an uppercut. So again, I would need to get closer to Sarah, but I want to hit the bottom of the chin and force your head up and hopefully knock you backwards onto your back. So again, that would be something where if she's rushing at me, all I have to do is just punch up, or if I'm feeling confident in my abilities, I can rush forward and punch up, and that will do a lot of damage and hurt like heck. So the final move will actually be a headlock. So if you will mind putting me in a headlock.
Okay.
So she's got me, and this generally is where most people just panic because they don't know what they're doing. What you can actually do is take your hand closest to your attacker, reach up behind you, and claw the eyes. So what we're wanting to do is to blind and injure her so that then she's going to let go of me and I can just run to safety. So again, just make sure it's whatever arm is closest to the attacker. So can you put me in a headlock with your other arm? Perfect. So now my left arm is the one where I want to reach up behind and try to gouge out her eyes. And it's really easy peasy to do. I'm not actually going to do it to Sarah because I really like her. So there's that. But this would be another alternative for you to do.
Do you want to show what it would look like with the other arm if you tried to get my
You could
eyes?
kind
It
of
wouldn't
try,
work as well,
but
yeah.
it requires a lot more thought and
My head was automatically facing the other way, so.
yeah, it's a lot harder to do. So the one that's closest to the attacker, you do have more flexibility in your range of motion, and your head can only go so far at that point.
Yeah.
So that's all for today, guys. Please tune in next time where we talk about the neck and collarbone area and how to defend yourself in that situation. So until then, bye guys!